Check, check, 1 2 1 2. We are a go for Israel.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio. This is Brian Smith, your host. I am riding solo this evening due to scheduling conflicts. Kerry Smith will be back with us shortly, and hopefully his trip is working out just fine. Today is Sunday evening, 5 o'clock on the East Coast, the 22nd of March, and we are locked and loaded tonight, folks. Let me tell you what, just as every week has been busy, this week has been busy as well. Everything from Benjamin Netanyahu thumbing his thumb in Obama's eye, and all the way to Hillary Clinton still stonewalling and saying that her hard drive crashed as well. So we've got it all set up. We're going to start off with Israel, though, because I know we talked about it last week with Benjamin Netanyahu in the race for re-election as Prime Minister of Israel. And we had uncovered some details that the Obama administration was using tax dollars and funding a group in Israel to help unseat Benjamin Netanyahu. I believe that's probably pretty unprecedented. I don't think I've ever heard of an American president spending American tax dollars, American money to unseat another president. And it's not that it's not that he's a dictator that he's trying to unseat. It's not that he's some kind of tyrant, some kind of control freak, somebody who's trying to take guns away from his people, or maybe trying to infringe on their own their freedoms or their God-given rights. No, that's not what Benjamin Netanyahu's doing. Not at all. He's all democratic, all capitalist, all the way. And if you look in all the Middle East, there is one flourishing country. Well, actually, technically two, but one major flourishing country, and that's Israel. Because they're a capitalist democracy. There's no question about it, hands down. The second one would be South Korea. They are also coming up to par and on board with being free, democracy, elections, capitalism. That's what grows. That's how people come out of poverty. Capitalism has lifted more human souls out of poverty than any single idea ever invented by mankind. Hands down, there's no question about it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that are really, really rich, a lot of people who aren't really, really rich. But if you look at America, take America as a whole, the people in America that are, if you want to say, poverty-stricken people in America, I think the poverty line was $30,000 a year, which is pretty damn good. That puts them up at like top 5% of wealthiest people in the world? Yeah, that's America, folks. Built on capitalism and freedom. So back to Bibi Netanyahu. This week he won his election, despite the Obama administration, despite the Democrats in Israel, despite ISIS and everything else that is going wrong. He begins working Wednesday to form a coalition government with the nationalist and ultra-Orthodox Jews parties after his conservative party scored a resounding and surprising victory following a litigious election campaign. Yeah, that's right. The news outlets were screaming, and I know better now not to listen to them, but to the run-up to this election, the news outlets were screaming, "Oh, he's going to lose. He's fighting an uphill battle. It's uphill all the way." I mean, it was just one after another after another. And no, not me. I didn't fall for it. I didn't bite. Not at all. And this is NBC in America. This is NBC News, and it's a couple of different news anchors, a couple of different reporters, and this was their take during the election day and their response to Benjamin Netanyahu being reelected.
Breaking news, the dramatic finish to a fight for power in Israel and the last-minute threat that could destroy any chance of a peace plan. We begin with a high-stakes showdown that tonight has left years of American peace efforts in the Middle East teetering on the brink. If he does prevail, the implications are enormous because just before today's vote, Netanyahu, locked in a tight race, publicly shut the door on a two-state peace solution, rejecting the idea of a Palestinian state, long a key pillar of American diplomacy in the region.
It was a dramatic finish to a frantic 3-month campaign, capped by Benjamin Netanyahu's desperate last-minute appeal to his hardline base. And of course there was that American campaign stop, his controversial speech to Congress. Netanyahu was right to worry. Tonight, many voters told me they wanted a better economy and were ready for change.
And this has profound implications. It could mean the end of peace with the Palestinians, the end of peace with President Obama, and change the course of history in the Middle East for years to come.
Netanyahu battled to the end, issuing a last-minute appeal to his supporters, claiming that Arab Israelis, who make up 20% of the population, were being bussed to polls by his opponents, a comment one Arab Israeli leader called racist. Peace will be hard. Netanyahu is opposed to a Palestinian state. His chief opponent, Herzog, says he would support it, and all the other parties have their own differing views. I have to say, Scott, not a lot of optimism on this front.
What difference at this point does it make?
Yes, exactly. What difference at this point does it make? Well, you could hear the frantic and scared, deep-throated anchors as they were perplexed and beside themselves, knowing that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to serve a third term as prime minister, and this thing about peace is stalled. There will be no peace now. I mean, seriously? I mean, what planet are these people living on? If you know anything, there's one single thing. Israel has a massive, massive defense system. The Iron Dome. That was originally spearheaded by Ronald Reagan, and the media making fun of Ronald Reagan called it the Star Wars project, the Star Wars program. Which he never liked that, but so be it. It sold it, and it worked. That technology, that idea, developed into what is now referred to as the Iron Dome in Israel. Any rocket launched at Israel is immediately shot down by one of their standby rockets, referring to it as the Iron Dome. They wouldn't have this costly, this massive amount of time, energy, blood, sweat, tears, and money to develop a defense system like this to defend themselves if they weren't being attacked all the time, constantly. I mean, think about it. Who wants peace more than the Israelis? Israel is in the Middle East. They are a sovereign state. They are pretty much on their own and alone. I know I've got a clip of John Kerry saying that.
You rang.
Yes, you did ring, John Kerry, saying that the administration is doing everything that they can possibly do, and it's insanity. Here, I got it. You got it queued up. Okay. All right. Here's the clip. It's kind of a precursor to something else that we're going to get into, but this is John Kerry being asked about Benjamin Netanyahu, and this was prior. This is before the election. This was actually, I think this question was asked to him before Netanyahu came to America to speak in front of Congress on behalf of the Republicans. And so this was John Kerry's statement about Netanyahu, the relations with Israel. And John Kerry, if you don't know, is Secretary of State. He was appointed by none other than Obama. And the reason why John Kerry is Secretary of State is because Hillary, who was a former Secretary of State, had to step down and move out the way for whatever reason. So here's John Kerry.
I will say this.
It's his criticism I'm asking you to address.
Well, let me say this. The Prime Minister, as you recall, was profoundly forward-leaning and outspoken about the importance of invading Iraq under George W. Bush, and we all know what happened with that decision.
Yeah, ask Obama.
He was extremely outspoken about how bad the interim agreement was, during which time he called it the deal of the century for Iran, even though it has clearly stopped Iran's program, and more importantly, he has decided it would be good to continue it. So, he's, I talk to him frequently. We work very, very closely together. We are deeply committed, this administration. I think we've done more to help Israel. I have a packet of 25 pages or more of things we've done on behalf of Israel in the course of this administration to stand up for it, stand with it, protect, fight back against unfair initiatives. So we won't take a backseat to anybody in our commitment to the state of Israel, but he may have a judgment that just may not be correct here.
So he's claiming that Benjamin Netanyahu may have a judgment that may not be correct here. Okay. Benjamin Netanyahu came to America to speak to Congress about the evils of Iran. And although Iran has what you would refer to as a president or a prime minister or a head of sorts, there is the ultimate head, the Ayatollah Khamenei. He is a religious fact that is at the top of the country. So, and a lot of people say that tactically he runs the country regardless of who the president is. And that's probably true for the most part, because the president won't do something that will go against the Ayatollah. And if he did, well, they might take him to the woodshed. And once you go to the woodshed, all you're going to hear is, right, Howard Dean, that's what you're going to hear. You're going to be hearing screaming and yelling. So presidents pretty much fall in line. When the Ayatollah issues what they refer to as a fatwa, or a law, then everything else falls into place. So there's all these hardline rules and regulations, and it is a dictatorship. It's one person at the top. I mean, basically that's it, the Ayatollah Khamenei. So Benjamin comes to America to speak about the evils of Iran and what Iran is currently doing. They're currently enriching uranium, which is used to make a nuclear bomb. And when you have uranium enriched to such high levels, you have that type of material ready for a bomb. I don't want to get into the technical aspects of it, but that's what it is. Now, in order to enrich uranium, you need a machine to do that. It's called a centrifuge. So, and I'm not going to go off the rails here. Just refer to it as a machine. So, Iran has 10,000 of these machines, which is plenty of machines to be able to do this. Well, apparently Obama recently has negotiated with Iran to back down to 4,000 machines, centrifuges, and Iran said no, we're going to back off to 6,000. And so apparently these backdoor talks that don't include any heads of state other than, well, I mean heads of state. I mean you've got John Kerry, but I mean that's mush for brains right there. That guy is just absolutely insane.
You rang.
Yes, I did ring. So But you've got Obama doing these backdoor deals, if you will, these backdoor talks, allowing Iran sweet deals and better deals and deals that other countries won't make with them. And so that's what Benjamin Netanyahu is coming to talk about. Because, why? Because Iran has sworn to erase Israel from the face of the earth. And this week, after Obama and John Kerry both said, we've reached talks, deals, they've been successful. And soon after that, Iran announces that they have nuclear warheads and that they're not afraid to use them. So, so much for that talk. I mean, and unless that's what Obama wants, is Iran to have nuclear weapons. I mean, he says he doesn't, but apparently they're saying they already have it. So who knows? And then not only that, but this week as well, North Korea, and I've told you before, North Korea and Iran both working together. Iran, the bigger, the more advanced, working with North Korea to share, trade nuclear weapons back and forth. So the two of them, North Korea comes out today. Kim Jong-un, the child of Kim Jong-il, comes out today, this week, and says that we've got nuclear warheads, and no, we're not afraid to use them. We'll use them if we have to. So, regardless if it's true or not, when a bad guy says that they have a gun, you've got to take them for their word. You can't say you're sitting there at a red light and a guy runs up to your door pounding on your window and says, open your door, get out of your car, I'm taking your car, I've got a gun, I'm going to shoot you. Would you say, no, dude, you don't have a gun, you're not going to shoot me? Or would you take his word for it and believe that he has a gun, hit the gas and drive away? Because that's exactly what I would do. I would believe him that he has a gun. The bad guys, and when I say they're bad, the reason why, and let me clarify this, the reason why I say Iran is bad, North Korea is bad, and ISIS is bad, first and foremost, they're all Muslim. And in the Quran, it says you must kill or convert. And the way that you kill is cut their heads off. You guys know this. This is a standard story, the standard thing that we see all the time. So, not only that, but this week as well, ISIS has claimed twin suicide bombings, killing up to over 100 innocent people. That, my friends, that's a bad person. If you don't think it is, you done lost your mind. Those are bad people. Bad people take away the freedom of innocent, non-violent people wanting to live out their lives and enjoy their life. If, say there's no countries and say there's no governments, there's nothing, and then all of a sudden say we're all cavemen and we're sitting down, and I want to eat a meal, and I just I just stole a pterodactyl egg, and so we're cooking it up, and I've got my family sitting around, and the neighbor comes over and says, hey, I didn't hunt today. My family's starving. They're pretty hungry. I've got this big giant club, and I'm going to start beating your children up to your wife and then you until you all decide to give me that food. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that would be a bad person? That would qualify him as a bad man. Okay? That is exactly what Iran, North Korea, and ISIS, that's what the Muslims do to people. If you're a female and you're a Muslim, you've been and you're okay with being a Muslim, you've been brainwashed into believing that the freedom and the rights of men supersede your freedom and your rights. and you must be covered head to toe in a garb. You must, not be seen in the streets without a man. If you're raped, 2 other men must come to your aid and said, yes, we witnessed her being raped, in order for it to be a true rape. I mean, you see where I'm going with the rights and the freedoms of people, innocent people, are being stripped away from them by the Muslims, by the Ayatollah Khomeini, by these dictators that want to run and rule the world, especially in the Middle East. That's all ISIS is attempting to do. The Muslims are all attempting to come through with Sharia law and dominate and control all of the Middle East. And that's it. Why am I saying this? Because that's what they're saying. I'm not inventing this. I'm not making these things up. That's what these bad people are saying. So if the bad people are telling me that they're going to do this, I've got to believe that they're going to do it. And for me to sit down and negotiate and talk with them is the same thing as somebody telling Jesus Christ, hey, Jesus, come on down. Satan's over here in the corner. He's been pouting for a while. He's kind of upset about everything that's been going on and how he's got to live in the fiery depths of hell. And he's just not happy with it. So, Jesus, I'm trying to broker a deal here. I want to bring both of you two to the table, and I want to see if we can't negotiate. Let's put our minds together and really crunch the numbers. I mean, get down to the hardcore facts of what it really is and why we have these differences, and let's open up the conversation. I love it when Democrats say that. They're like, we're open for conversation. Let's conversate. Let's talk about it. By the way, conversate is not a word. However, a lot of people have been using it. Let's have a conversation. Let's sit down. What was that with Hillary with the fireside chat? Let's have a conversation. Let's open up the conversation. Why would Jesus not be able to negotiate with the devil? Because their two ideologies are completely opposite. There's nothing that Jesus could agree on that the devil would agree on. It just doesn't work that way. Bad and good, yin and yang. Have you ever seen the Japanese symbol? Or I think it's Japanese. Well, now, yeah, it's the Chinese symbol. With the yin and the yang, the white and the black in the circle. And that's what life is all about. It's the up and the down, the in and the out, the good and the bad. It's becoming more and more clear to me the older I get. The more profound the line of good and bad has become. I mean, there's no question in my mind. And maybe in the 80s, just being younger, and in the 90s being younger, I didn't see that defined line being so etched in marble and so just dug deep and separating the two sides. And clearly, if somebody walked in, they looked at the left and looked at the right, looked at both sides like, oh, whew, yeah, that one's bad and that one's good. I don't remember that ever being like that. I always remember, the Clintons are great for this. They love blurring the lines. That's something, too. The Democrats have always done that. They've always blurred the lines. And during the election with Bibi, the guy that he was running against, he was a line blur too. Democrat, left-winger, a socialist. They blur the lines. They like to change the definition of words, what words mean. They like to feel that they own the dictionary of words. And so whatever they want that word to be, they'll make that word into it. Or if you use a word now and say, take for example, it's the Democrat Party. of America. The Democrat Party. Not the Democratic Party. It's the Democrat Party. And I know that's a changing of a word, but that's how they blur it and feather it. Nice and smooth. Like putting icing on a cake, and they just kind of, yeah, we'll make this all good. It'll be no big deal. And then they'll also invent words. They'll give people labels. Bad labels, never good ones, but they'll give them labels. Like, anybody who questions the authenticity of the great Obama and his birth certificate is a birther. Is a birther. Yeah, that's back in the news again. The whole birther issue. I'll touch on that here in a little bit. But I want to bring back an oldie but goodie clip, because this is how people on the left tend to treat and look at their leader, if you will. They look at their leader as all-knowing, almighty, all-powerful. And Ann Coulter wrote a book called Godless. And that's what the left is. They are godless. So what they'll do is they'll take their leader and they'll follow him as if that is their God. And one famous actor, your friend and ours, none other than Jamie Foxx, had this to say.
First of all, giving honor to God and our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama. Barack Obama. Y'all stand up right now. You gotta.
I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. And when I first aired that, when I first heard it, I was taken back at the fact that he was so, he drew the line in the sand. He was so a matter of fact about it, and people started telling me, oh, come on. He's pulling your leg. He's just... No, folks, he's not pulling my leg. If he's doing that to pull my leg, and why would he do that? Why do you want to... I just don't see that, because it's a fact. They worship Barack Hussein Obama. They worship him as if he were the second coming, as if he were the Christ himself. I mean, you heard Jamie Foxx say it. I mean, how much more clear does it have to be? And if Jamie Foxx was joking, I'm just joking. Well, he never said. I don't remember him saying it. I don't remember ever hearing him come back out and saying that he was joking. I mean, he could, but you wouldn't do that in front of a crowd. He got the whole crowd fired up. You could hear him in the background. They were so excited to know that okay, Jamie Foxx has just announced that Barack Obama is the second coming. He is Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. That's what he just said. Have you ever heard anybody joke about somebody else being Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior? I can't remember anybody ever saying that. That's so out there. I mean, these people are painting these lines in the sand so clearly and so poignantly now as never before. I mean, the line is drawn. There is a bad side, and then there's a good side. And if you don't believe me, look at the ideologies that people are believing. I mean, this week, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but this week, oh my goodness, there is a horrendous story about a to-be mother, a to-be woman who was pregnant. She was 23 years old, and took a couple selfies, some pictures, posted them on Facebook, on the internet, and okay, yeah, here it is, I got it. And so she was going, and this is by FoxNews.com. She was going to go to pick up some clothing. So she was on Craigslist to look for baby clothes and things like that. And when she got to the woman's house, 34-year-old Colorado woman was accused of stabbing the pregnant woman, and she removed the child, went to the hospital, claimed that she just had the baby and needed help. The infant didn't survive. The mother did survive. I know it's unbelievable. I had to list this. This article, I titled it. I said, "Very, very gory. Do not read if you're uneasy about these things." And again, I'm not going into the details of it because it is just absolute insanity. So, at the end of the story, the suspect was arrested at the hospital on suspicion of attempted first-degree murder, first-degree assault, and child abuse, knowingly and recklessly resulting in the death. Boulder County District Attorney Stan Garnett said in his office will consider what form of charges to file. Now, when I was reading that, I hope this piqued your ear and your interest that they're looking at first-degree assault and child abuse knowingly and recklessly resulting in the death. The baby was inside the mother's womb, and the left likes to refer to that as a fetus. It's a baby. And this is the quote from the district attorney's office. The issues involving an unborn child are complicated under Colorado law. In most circumstances, if a child was not actually born alive, then homicide charges are not possible. So, if the child was not born alive, how could it be a child, for one? But, okay, so it's a child that was removed at 7 months, and we're assuming it lived for a moment. So then it was at her hands that the child had died. So homicide charges should be brought upon this woman. There's no question about it. However, Planned Parenthood and who also supports the Girl Scouts, and the Girl Scouts also support Planned Parenthood, which is a very bad deal right there in itself. I'm not going to get off on a side note there, but look into it. You'll see. Planned Parenthood would have you believe that the child was not, the fetus was unborn, so it could not possibly bring homicide charges. Now, a normal, rational, minded individual would instantly see. I mean, ask this woman. Ask any woman who has ever bore a child or has ever been pregnant and lost a child before the pregnancy, miscarriage, or whatnot. Ask them if they know that there's a child, a being, a person, inside their body. Ask them. Don't have the left tell you what you're to believe is a baby and is not a baby. And remember, Planned Parenthood was set up to help abort black babies and Jewish babies because the founder was outspokenly racist. And she made no bones about it. So that's Planned Parenthood. Tax dollars are going that way too, which is very disturbing. So when I say lines are drawn, it's another instance where the lines have been drawn because the left, which is bad and getting worse. They're pulling away from the middle so far and so fast. It is absolute insanity. Doing what is bad things, taking away the freedoms and the rights of other people, regardless if you're an American, a Mexican, European, Asian, regardless of what country you live in. If somebody's trying to take your freedom away from you for whatever reason, that's bad. And so that's what we've got right here that's going on. These are bad things. See what else is going on in the news today. Oh, that was another thing that Obama did this week. Oh, this is another bad thing, and you've got to look into. Don't read the titles, the headline titles, and get a feel-good feeling for it, and say, hey, it sounds like a good idea. You got to really look into it, and the reason this is the reason why the libs do it is because they are banking on the fact that the majority of people will not look into it. According to FoxNews.com, Obama floats making voting mandatory, calling it potentially transformative. Okay. They say the only two things that are certain in life are death and taxes. President Barack Hussein Obama wants to add one more thing: voting. Obama floated the idea of mandatory voting in the U.S. while speaking to a civic group in Cleveland on Wednesday. Asked about the influence of money in U.S. elections, Obama digressed into the topic of voting rights and said the U.S. should make it easy for people to vote early, and vote often. I'm just joking. I made that one up. But you know that's what it's about. Just ask Australia, where citizens have no choice but to vote, the president said. If everybody voted, it would completely change the political map on this country. But potentially transformative. Not only that, but universal voting would counteract money more than anything. Let me tell you, it'll counteract the money. It won't counteract the money. It will coincide. That's the word he meant to say, coincide with the money. He didn't mean counteract. He meant coincide with the money. Here's what this scheme is. I read further into the article, and this is how this works. Everybody in America, when you go to the DMV, you will be required by law to sign a piece of paper saying that you'll vote. And if you don't vote, or if you do vote, and whatever party you signed up for, I don't know how this could possibly work. But the reason why they're saying it's mandatory is because it'll be an automatic vote if you don't vote. So you will vote. And he's trying to claim that on election day, young people, low-income people, immigrants, minorities. He said, there's a reason why some folks try to keep them away from the polls. He said in a veiled reference to voter identification laws in a number of states. Yeah, bro, of course, even the majority of black Americans want voter IDs. You gotta have a... So then, that was another thing that the Republicans threw out once he said this. If it's going to be mandatory that everyone vote, then that means it's going to be mandatory that everybody has a voter ID. So which one is it? Which way do you go? Or do you just sit around and come up with these ideas and everybody around you says, "Oh yeah, you're so funny, you're so cute, Obama. Yeah, that'll work. We love you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Obama, Obama. Ooh, ooh, ooh." What? Do you think any of these things through? I'm beside myself with this. The article goes on and on. Obama said he thought it would be fun. Fun. I'm doing the air quotes. For the U.S. to consider amending the Constitution to change the role that money plays in the electoral system. But don't hold your breath. Realistically, given the requirements of that process, that would be a long-term proposition. Yes! How do you see? This is clearly a sign. There's absolutely zero this individual, Obama, has no respect for the Constitution whatsoever. The one that declares our freedom in America. Clearly. And not only that, but this week too, something else down south of the border, 30,000 illegal criminals were released to go free. If you start seeing them showing up in your streets, folks, you know why. You know where they came from. This wasn't this wasn't a Republican thing. This was clearly a way for Obama to widen the divide. Like I said, the line is written in the sand, and the divide is getting wider and wider and wider between what is right, what is wrong, what is good, and what is bad. And like I said last week, something that I'm still hopeful for, and you can see this, it's taken liberal, communist, socialist over 230 years to attempt to take over and destroy America because of the jealousy, the hate, and the rage that they possess inside their heart. It's taken them 230 years to try and attempt to destroy America, and yet we're still the wealthiest country in all of human existence. Do you understand that? Do you realize that? We are the wealthiest, most successful, most giving, most caring nation in all of human existence, while at the same time, through 230 years, communist, dictator, tyrant, socialist, liberal, Democrats have been attempting at every angle and at all cost to destroy the goodness that is America. And as we see now, it's to the point to where you've got this fake, lying, false, illegitimate president. And he is. There's no question about it. We've got some articles, some things that have come out this week on Obama's illegitimacy as being president. And something that the founding fathers of this country couldn't have seen, didn't see. They honestly believed that the media, the newsprint media of the day, would vet all politicians, would dig in and do the reporting that needed to be done on these politicians before they were elected. They're the ones to bring the information to us, the people. But if you think about it, that's a high responsibility to give upon a certain group of people. I guess. I mean, I can't think of any other. I don't know. But in the news, apparently CNN is imploding as usual. CNN, MSNBC, they're both imploding. But CNN is is going through some changes, if you will. They're growing and they're changing and they're trying to morph into something and trying to suck in low information voters, get into that mainstream young hip crowd type thing. And Conan O'Brien did a clip where I guess he really went to Cuba. He went to Cuba and he sat on top of a hotel outside filming as if he was the CNN anchor reporter. And I've got that clip here. You'll love it. Just imagine Conan O'Brien sitting on top of a building overlooking a city in Cuba and attempting to report on Cuba, because that's what CNN did. And so this is Conan.
I'm now solely reporting on the barking of the dog. I'm realizing Anderson Cooper has a very easy job. The dog here in central Havana continues to bark. It's a mournful bark, a plaintive wail, if you will. The dog has stopped barking now. We await now to see if the dog will continue barking. Because this is what they do on CNN. They pretend something's new when it really isn't. A child just heard from the distance. Still no word from the dog. Maybe the dog's been fed. Possibly the dog has gone to sleep. Although that would be unusual for a dog to go to sleep that quickly after barking that much. The dog is back now. We are now getting the running live and the dog is barking again here in central Havana atop this beautiful roof on this gorgeous night. We don't know what kind of dog it is. I'm guessing it's a mixed breed. It sounds like a smaller dog. Eventually it may grow into a larger dog. I think what we've pretty much proven here is I could fill 6 hours a night on CNN. Of course, we'd have to hire the dog as well, but I hear they work cheap.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with a lot more of my adventures in Cuba.
Tell me that's not hysterical. And while he was reporting on the dog, there were clips running, words running underneath the screen, the bar at the bottom of the screen. It said, "Breaking, dog now barking again." Breaking, dog stops barking. It's when comedy shows are making fun of news shows, and the reason why it's funny is because there's an element of truth to it. And you're not gonna believe this. Anderson Cooper on CNN has now a quiz show. Yep, you heard it right. CNN is now opening up a quiz show section or segment, whatever the case may be. And they're going to talk about, or they're going to have different guests come through and do a quiz, I guess, on politics, on history. I'm not quite sure. I saw a couple of different clips on it, and it looked pretty stupid, if you ask me. It was really geared for Nickelodeon kind of kids. Like, I was waiting for the green slime to drop down on somebody. You remember the green slime, right? You got slimed. So their very first show, apparently, they've taken all the news anchors that work at CNN and they've paired them up together to do a presidential edition of what are they calling it? They're calling it just a quiz show. Quiz show. Presidential quiz show. So, and they're going to air this for President's Day. And so here's a clip of the anchors answering questions throughout this. And I'm going to say, listen really closely to the questions. You got to understand, we're listening to CNN, and it's part and parcel, part of the Obama regime. Part and parcel, part of the Democrat machine. So listen very attentively and see if you can pick out the subtle nuances.
Which performer did not sing at a swearing-in ceremony at a presidential inauguration? A, Kelly Clarkson. B, Beyonce. John Berman.
Beyonce, B.
That is incorrect.
It's not incorrect. She lip-synced.
That's low. That is a low blow. President Franklin Roosevelt reportedly suffered from triskaidekaphobia, which is a fear of what? A, children. B, ghosts. C, produce. D, the number 13.
D.
That is correct.
Okay, there's a bridge.
Named after her?
Yes. It goes to New Jersey. That's, yes.
It goes to New Jersey.
New Jersey from Manhattan, the bridge, uptown.
George Washington?
Yes, but it's his wife. Remember, we're doing wife.
Begin.
All right. Bala is Franklin Roosevelt.
Yes.
Millie is George H.W. Bush. Checkers is Richard Nixon. Satan is John Adams. And him is Lyndon Johnson. Hit it.
Wow. All right.
Presidential
Go back over there. Let's take a look at how many you got right. How did you know Satan was John Adams? Let's see if that's correct.
I have a good line.
You're right. Got all right. That's very good.
Yeah, they were talking about different presidential pets. And if you could match up the pet to the president. And then the other questions I thought was really interesting that the one anchor threw out there, Beyonce, didn't sing at a presidential inauguration. And he's like, no. She lip sunk. And then Anderson Cooper, oh, that's low. That's really low. Like Cooper wanted to say that's racist. You can feel it. That's exactly what he wanted to say. He wanted to say that it was racist. So, anyways, couple of the contestants, couple of talk show, well, they're anchors on CNN, and one of the anchors is doing his regular show, talking about the quiz show that they're going to be on, and he has his other he calls him his arch nemesis, who's another anchor that's going to be competing against him. And this is how this ensues.
It's rare that we're all together in one place, so it's an interesting dynamic. Jake Tapper takes this game really seriously.
Martin Van Buren.
That is correct.
Aaron Burnett, John Quincy Berman, you guys are going down like the dude President Andrew Jackson shot in that duel.
Dead weight is how I would describe that. Dead weight, Jake.
Dead weight, Jake.
Anything can happen.
And there's Don and Cuomo. There's the testosterone overload.
Do you hear these different anchors? These are all the contestants, but they're anchors and they work for CNN. But it's like they're trying to ignite rivalry between each other. And the YouTube video actually said, the show ignites rivalry and Sunday, come watch the big truck show. Sunday. I mean, it's a flash and flare and glitz and glamour. And the whole thing is trying to attract a younger game show crowd. You know what they ought to do? They ought to do that one game show that comes from Japan, where they got the obstacle course and the soap and the foam and the water and the giant glove that comes out and punches you, and you got to climb on ropes and swing and stuff. They ought to do that show on CNN, because if they did, I would watch it. I love that show. I would watch it. So, but here's more of this this fake trying to force some type of rivalry, and then as soon as this clip is done, it then kicks into a second clip where he talks about more of the show and what the show is is all about, I guess.
Look out for Cuomo, that fancy boy from the governor's mansion.
Just nice to see these anchors sweat.
What competition?
Yeah. I mean, the premise of the question is fugazi. There is no competition.
What is the CNN quiz show?
You know, that is the exact question that I asked when they came to me and said, do you want to be on the CNN quiz show? I thought, first of all, who would want to watch this? Second of all, I thought, why on earth would any of us want to be on this? I saw only downside, but Jake Tapper, let me tell you this. Having now gone through it, it was incredibly fun. I think it is incredibly entertaining, and I think people will learn an awful lot. Some of it even accurate. Well, there was so much, but just because we were talking about Erin, I'll sell her out right now. She was obsessed with the presidential mistresses, and Warren Harding, it turns out, named his little friend. He had a nickname for his little friend. It was Jerry, which was my father's name. I think it's completely coincidental, but yeah, that was I think the best fact I learned.
Yes, folks. Yes, they have sunk to an all-time ultra low. CNN anchors reporting on a president that was the 29th president of the United States, came from Ohio, by the way, back in the early 1900s, 1920, matter of fact. He got elected running on rebuilding America. Just got out of World War I. We're going to be done with war. We're going to rebuild America, and we're going to move forward. Apparently, when he was in the House, I believe he was, he was, before he became president, he was in the House. And before that, he was a local state politician. And apparently he had a mistress and carried on this relationship with her for years and years and years. But when he was elected president, he cut the relationship off and, stayed. He was married the whole time. He's married to an older woman and, carried on that relationship as president for whatever reason. I mean, Democrats, even JFK had, half a dozen women every single night. They're talking JFK went through thousands of women when he was president. Bill Clinton, remember, apparently spawned a child in 1998 with White House secretary. So, philanderers, I mean, that's just what they are. There's no morals. Do what feels good. And so the anchor refers to Warren G. Harding and said that his mistress had a pet name for his penis, referred to his penis as Jerry. I couldn't take it. I had to look this up. Breaking news, folks. The New York Slime, or some of you may know as the New York Times, after 50 years, the love letters have been sealed and now released. After 50 years, Warren G. Harding's love letters to the lovely mistress were made public. Apparently, he wrote to his mistress describing her pillowing breasts and his little Mount Jerry. This is in the New York Times. The New York Times calls the mistress out and claims that she was a communist and a Nazi spy, and then says a modern woman who liked to climb Mount Jerry. This is news! This is news! What is this? I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, so the hot question on the hottest burning question on my mind. Can you think of what it is? What is the burning question on my mind? What was Warren G. Harding's political affiliation? Yes, folks, I'm into politics, but at present day politics, but I instantly did not know or recognize what WGH, what his political affiliation was, and I looked at the Wikipedia, and the Wikipedia had no love lost for Warren G as well. They like to kind of kick him under the bus too. Wait for it. He was a Republican. A Republican ticket on the Republican Party as a conservative, laid-back conservative. Yes! So, fast forward, if he was elected in 1920, fast forward to today, 2015, 95 years. Fast forward 95 years. And the libs go all the way back 95 years ago to call out Warren G. Harding and his mistress and make fun of him for nicknaming or referring to his penis as Jerry. Okay. I mean, two people who are in love with each other, they come up with pat names for everything. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm not gonna fault the guy. However, it was a really funny little snippet that the New York Times had called out, and I can't remember the exact words, but they referenced Anthony Weiner in his sexting, and then they referenced Bill Clinton and said, "See, no harm, no foul." No harm, no foul. But this has been going, folks. This has been going on for years. Come on, Anthony Weiner, good guy. They're having a conference, saying he's sorry again with his wife. Again. Oh, and by the way, his wife has very, very strong ties to Hillary, and Hillary was telling her, "You gotta stay in the fight. You gotta stick it out. Stand by your man." Yeah, that's what Hillary was telling her. Stand by your man. Wow. I've got no words for these people. I mean, really. Bill Clinton has destroyed the lives of a handful of women. I mean, Monica was 20 years old, absolutely starstruck and in love, and he did things to her that most 20-year-old girls would never, just doesn't happen. And I mean, she loved him. She truly, truly loved him in a way. I don't know what he said to her or how he said to her, but I mean, apparently he's an extremely charming individual. And, I mean, he charmed the pants off of half the nation in America. 8 years, attempted for 8 years. And has ruined that girl's life. I mean, do you realize that the world knows Monica Lewinsky, knows her because of a Cuban cigar and the President of the United States in the Oval Office sexual acts? That is your life. That is your legacy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No remorse from this man. None whatsoever. So when the 19-year-old girl that came out last week, or 2 weeks ago, and said, I talked to my dad, Bill Clinton, used to talk to him all the time. He sent me presents, sent me gifts. When he's in town, we see each other. And she's filed a lawsuit for a paternity test. And the judge looked at all the material that she had and, decided that she had enough material to go ahead with the case. Matter of fact, that case was supposed to be heard this Thursday, but I haven't heard anything about the Bill Clinton Parent of the Year. Yes. Oh, Bill Clinton Father of the Year, Huffington Post. Bill Clinton joins John Edwards as Father of the Year. Yes. Yes, those two guys should be Father of the Year. John Edwards, if you recall, cheating on his dying wife as she was dying. He's of cancer. He's running around, philandering around, and I think he had she's on her deathbed, dying of cancer, and he hands her divorce papers and asks her to sign them. What kind of sick individual does that? Let's see, father of 19-year-old in Arkansas. Let's see what we come up on the wiki. No. Oh, 16-year-old. 16-year-old, sorry. That was 19-year-old. 16-year-old. In Little Rock, Arkansas, she has presented a paternity action lawsuit before Arkansas State Court, alleging that the former president of the United States, William Jefferson Clinton, is her biological father. Alyssa Gilmore, that's right. So, oh, wow. Her mom, Whitney Gilmore, appeared on many official pictures with Bill Clinton, like this one from an Independence Day party on July 4, 2000, where she appears with the president and his wife Hillary. So hold on. Whoa. Hold on, folks. Whitney Gilmore was pregnant by William Jefferson Clinton in 1998, had the child, and fast forward 2 years, on a 4th of July party, Bill Clinton has his arm around Hillary and his arm around Whitney. Oh, my goodness. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, they show a picture of Bill Clinton. Bill appeared extremely irritated, even angry, when he met the media this morning in Washington. I did not have sex relations with that woman. This is not the first time Bill Clinton has been involved in an adultery-related scandal. The most famous case is, of course, when he admitted to having sex with what he called an inappropriate relation with Monica Lewinsky while she worked at the White House 95 to 96. There are also many other women who claim over the years that they had affairs with Mr. Clinton, or that they were victims of sexual misbehavior on his part. These include Jennifer Flowers, Paula Jones, Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Willey, Elizabeth Ward, and Dolly Kyle Browning. Many political experts believe that no matter how this court case ends, this new story of adultery has reminded the population of the Clinton couple's particular relation and story. They think it could therefore certainly have a very negative impact on Hillary's chances of being president. I don't know. This is from World News Daily Report. I don't know if it'll have a negative effect. It might. This could all be a hoax. I mean, the Clintons are known for drumming stuff up like this. This could be to help Hillary, to remind and refresh everybody's mind of what Hillary has had to endure over the years. Look at what and now this 16-year-old girl. Oh, my goodness. You've got to have sympathy for Hillary. Mr. Clinton denied having an affair with Miss Gilmore or being the father of the teenage girl. He adds that the timing of the accusations suggests that they are intended to ruin my wife's chances in the run for presidential elections in November. No, bro, your wife is ruining her chances already. He goes on to say, Whitney was indeed my secretary, and she has been a friend of both my wife and I for many years. I have worked with her for a few years, and I have met her daughter a few times, but we never had any sexual relationship, and I am not the father of Alyssa Gilmore. This whole thing is just a diversion created by the Republican Party to ruin Hillary's chances in the run for presidency. I want to get this over with as soon as possible. Okay. Well, apparently, here's what the Judge Henry Watkins of Arkansas State Court, rapidly decided that Miss Gilmore had enough evidence to support her demand and announced that the presentation of evidence will begin on March 19th. Yep. That was Thursday. Haven't heard anything since. Let's see. Gilmore of Clinton. This was the 15th. No, 19th would have been. See, we need something more closer. Mr. Producer, help me out. Help me out, Mr. Producer. I need something. Oh, 2 days. Here we go. 2 days ago. From the conservativepost.com. Ooh. Breaking. This could end Hillary Clinton's presidential chances for good on March 19th. I don't know. Just arrogant Michelle slams America in newly surfaced video, which she bashes Americans to her husband. Yeah, I'm not shocked about that either. So, we've done the show quiz, and you've heard that it's insane show. I know I went off about the different presidents, but it had to be done. It had to be done. In the news this week as well, John Kerry. Yes, he did. We played that clip here earlier of him bashing Bibi Netanyahu. Well, during this week, during the testimony of Foreign Affairs and State Budget, John Kerry was there, and he had 5 minutes on an opening speech or whatever. I started falling asleep on it, and my eyes weren't even bleeding. My eyes were falling apart, and it was everything. I had toothpicks in my eyelids to hold them open. It was just so. It was like listening to this. You right. That's what it was. That's what it was like listening to for 5 straight minutes. Oh, this guy is so clueless. He's just. I don't know where they find these people. But anyways, he made a reference to the Cold War and ISIS. And it was news that popped up. But I wanted to play it for you. Here's the 25-second clip, and I'll bore you no longer, and we'll be done with this cat.
By the way, the Cold War was simple compared to this. Bipolar, pretty straightforward conversations. Yeah, we had to make big commitments. But it wasn't half as complicated in the context of dealing country to country and with tribes, with culture, with a lot of old history. And it's a very different set of choices.
That's what I think about that one. What is he talking about? The Cold War was simple. The Cold War was simple. The Cold War lasted 45 years. 45 years. There were no direct military campaigns between the two main parties, America and the Soviet Union. 45 years. It was simple? What a moron! Are you kidding me? We were on the brink of we were literally staring down nuclear missile silos in Cuba, pointed at America. I know I was ranting and raving earlier about Iran and North Korea having nuclear weapons and threatening to, wipe America and Israel off the face of the earth. That's fine. It's true. They want to do that. That's true. However, Russia was a huge superpower back in the day. At least we believed it was. Behind the Iron Curtain. Nobody could see behind the Iron Curtain. Nobody knew how bad it really was. But they had nuclear warheads on missiles in silos in Cuba. And that was simple? This guy is a moron! Here's what I would like to do to John Kerry.
Agent Hurley, I want you to give this scumbag a cavity search. I'm talking Roto-Rooter. Don't stop till you reach the back of his teeth.
That's what I'm talking about. We need to find out what John Kerry is hiding. Because apparently he's got no brain. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! I had to play you that because this is the leadership of America. I mean, not America, but this is what is in power in America. And the people that we rely on and believe in, the Republican Party, to stand up for us, to do right by us, where are you guys at? I know there's a handful of you that are really solid, conservative, that want to pull in the reins. I know there's a lot of you out there. But man, and I know it's got to be extremely hard. I would never want to be in political life. Ever, ever, ever. Just because of how evil. I mean, if you think about being a lawyer, it's a bad job in the sense that you have to defend people that you may or may not know that killed somebody, O.J. Simpson, and he's battling 300 pounds in prison trying to cut back on his weight drinking Diet Coke. Whew, somebody got their just dessert. So, no, I digress. Yeah. So, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the head of the DNC, she commented this week on Hillary and what she thought about Hillary and Hillary's run for president.
No, I mean, Secretary Clinton isn't even a candidate for president of the United States at this point. And when she decides finally whether she's going to run for president, I'm confident that she will enjoy significant support, as she has for many years, of the American people, and that whoever our nominee is, whether it's Hillary Clinton or any other candidate, that we will we will be able to elect the Democratic nominee as the 45th president of the United States of America. Secretary Clinton has exercised remarkable leadership, is one of, if not consistently, the most admired woman in the United States of America, and with good reason.
Remarkable leadership. Okay. Remarkable leadership. Benghazi, anyone? Benghazi, anyone? Answer me this. Riddle me this. When she was a senator for New York, New York State Senator, when she was a senator, what did she do as a leader? Yeah, I'm going to hold out on that one. You got me. Okay, as Secretary of State, all right, what did she do that would quantify her as being a leader?
What difference at this point does it make?
Okay. I am so sorry. I did not mean to question your authority. I did not mean to go down that road and offend you. And if you were black, I would probably be called racist. Right? Because that's how you roll. Oh, anyways, the reason why I bring that up is because this also leads to our big story of the night. Obama and the fraudulent documents. Yes, folks. There are no tinfoil hats here tonight. This is true. I mean, this is more and more people are digging in, and more things are starting to come up. And more things are starting to look really, really bad. And we'll start out with this week, and this is new news this week, what Obama did. And then I'm going to give you some details to follow up to and maybe help explain why he's doing this. So this week, Obama greets his people. No, not the Democrats. And not the American people. He's addressing his people, the Iranian people. Yes, he did a YouTube video, that's now on YouTube, that's subtitled in Hebrew, Aramaic, whatever the language is. And he is greeting them and trying to sway the people to agree with the talks that he's having with the leaders in the Ayatollah Khomeini. Folks, this is unprecedented. This truly is.
Hello to everyone celebrating Nowruz across the United States and in countries around the world. Nowruz Mubarak. For thousands of years, this has been a time to gather with family and friends and welcome a new spring and a new year. Last week, my wife, Michelle, helped mark Nowruz here at the White House. It was a celebration of the vibrant cultures, food, music, and friendship of our many diaspora communities who make extraordinary contributions every day here in the United States.
When she orchestrated that Nowruz, was that before or after you both took a flight to Hawaii and back, flying in separate 747s, costing the taxpayers $75,000 a piece in fuel? These people, $150,000 of jet fuel. Folks, global warming? Who's the idiot now? They dumped $155,000 in fuel because they wanted to take separate flights to Hawaii. Okay, now on to bigger and better things. So he's greeting the people in Iran, talking about the Iranian New Year, and now Iran has said that they were starting the talks, or they were in talks with Obama. The Republicans wrote a letter saying that these talks are not legitimate because they're not sanctioned by America, and that the politicians aren't involved. Congress needs to be involved. And Iran said, okay, we're done. We've got nuclear warheads. We're done with you. Like, literally, that's how it went down. So why is Obama doing this with these Iranian Muslims? I mean, is he really trying to bring on World War III? I mean, is that his end game? Other than that, I can't. I'm dumbfounded. But let's go to the fraudulent documents. Okay, there's an attorney, Orly Taz. She has, and this is from Tim Brown, the editor of Freedom Outpost. Attorney Orly Taz has been advancing the issue of Barack Obama's fraudulent documents, including his birth certificate, Selective Service Form and his use of a bogus Social Security number for several years now. Okay, we've all said this, and last week Kerry explained to us that the birth certificate that was submitted, guys who use Photoshop for a living instantly looked at it and said, this isn't possible. It was digitally enhanced, which instantly is fraud because there was no digital enhancing back when he was born. It didn't exist. So, but okay, oh, all right, okay. I'm racist for bringing that up. That's okay. That's fine. Congressman Dana Rohrabacher from California, he's quoting him. He said, "Why doesn't Obama have a valid Social Security number and valid IDs?" I don't know. That's a good question. He was at a conservative Tea Party rally in, I believe it was Costa Mesa, out in California. So I don't know why these documents wouldn't be available. This is where the media comes into play to verify and vet out all the details of who we are looking at and who's running for president. I mean, it originally started with JFK, where he would wine and dine the media, and the media lapped it up, starstruck, and sucked it up, and now all of a sudden the media, they feel like they're actors and actresses, and they're part of this grand play as well. And then it got progressively worse and worse and worse and worse. And now with Obama, the media is, I don't even know what to call it now. I mean, it's an obsession with these people. But Tights, the attorney Orly Tights, continues to pursue the avenues available to her in the courts, patiently filing and refiling to advance the case to open up the Obama Social Security fraud allegations to the Freedom of Information Act in order to determine with specificity that Obama is using Harry Bonell's Social Security number. Apparently, this American named Harry Bonell says that Obama's using his number. It seems far-fetched. And I'm not wearing a tinfoil. I'm telling you, I'm not. It seems the representatives of the people are more interested in playing games with the devil and assuming power than they are actually dealing with a criminal administration that is leading us into a communist-style revolution. One thing is for certain. If Congress were to press the issue, they could shut down a lot of the illegal executive orders and unconstitutional laws of this administration simply by bringing to light the criminal usurpation of the office of the president by Barack Hussein Obama. Tim Brown, editor of Freedom Outpost. That's it right there. I mean, how do you not get the real deal? How do you not get all the facts and all the details of who this guy is? I mean, who is he? He's who... he's telling us who he is? I mean, help me out, folks.
He is exactly what he claims that he is not.
Okay, Rush. He is exactly what he claims he is not. Oh, remember the one soundbite we had? You see, the problem is, President of the United States, not the dictator. No, or the emperor. I'm not the emperor. Right. No. You wish and you are acting as if you are the emperor. There's no question about that. There's some other facts. Obama's legal team has spent well over $1.4 million blocking access to documents every American should have access to. The question is, why would he spend so much money to do this? The president who campaigned for more open government and full disclosure will not unseal his medical records, school records, birth records, passport records, Harvard records, Columbia College records, Occidental College records. He won't even release his Columbia College thesis. All his legislative records from the Illinois State Senate are missing, he claims. His scheduling records during those state Senate years are also lost. In addition, no one can find his school records for the elite K-12 college prep school, Punahou School, he attended in Hawaii. None of it! And people were pressuring George W. Bush for his stuff, and everybody was screaming at Mitt Romney for his tax returns, and he didn't pay. Harry the scumbag Reid screaming, he didn't pay taxes, and he killed a man's wife. Oh my Lord, people. That's that projection we talk about all the time, remember? It should be noted that the original birthers are not Republicans. They're not the conservatives. They're not the Tea Parties. The original birthers. Nor were they members of the Tea Party. That's right. The original birthers were the Democrat Bill, Hillary Clinton, the party, all of that, the whole machine. Barack Obama's publishers were also birthers. Like the people who published his books and stuff. Long before the accusation of wearing a tinfoil hat and being racist against America's first black illegitimate president were tossed out, the Kenyan parliament and even a Kenyan newspaper were birthers before it was cool to be called birther. Even a document examiner tied to the Obama's defense attorneys says that Obama's birth certificate is 100% fraudulent. Okay, so where does this get us? Well, let's get back to Iran. During Obama's speech, Iran, the Ayatollah Khomeini, the Muslims, if you will, during his whole speech, he kept referring to, and he said, and I quote, I quote, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, has issued a fatwa against the development of nuclear weapons. A fatwa is a law or a rule. And he said a couple of times that the Ayatollah issued a fatwa saying that nuclear weapons were illegal. Folks, that's wrong. The Ayatollah has never made that. There is no rule. None whatsoever. So Obama is selling. He's pitching a speech. He's still running for. He's running for world leader. That's what he's doing. He's running for the election of world leader right now, and he's lying to the Iranian people. Okay, now here we go. This is from the westernjournalism.com. Most Americans don't realize we have elected a president whom we know very little about. And it goes in a lot of detail about this and that and everything else. Furthermore, now at least 3 document authentication experts have declared the scanned certificate of live birth Obama's campaign team gave to pro-Obama websites to be an obvious phony. We know that he is hiding something here as well. Over 49 separate lawsuits have been filed on the eligibility birth certificate issue alone, with several of the suits making it all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. only to be denied a full hearing. What's more, there are questions about how he paid for his Harvard law education, since, despite a claim by Michelle "Ma Belle" Obama, no one has produced any evidence that he received student loans. The Obamas will not release any student loan details, despite repeated requests from the Chicago Tribune. However, it appears that his Harvard education may have been paid for by foreign sources. Khalid al-Mansour, an advisor to the Saudi prince Awad bin Talal, told Manhattan Borough President Percy Sutton that he was raising money for Obama's Harvard tuition. Incidentally, Prince Talal is the largest donor to CAIR, C-A-I-R, who doesn't care, and is a Muslim terrorist group declared terrorist by me, declared terrorist group by Smith Radio, by CAIR, a Muslim group declared by the United States government in 2007 as an unindicted co-conspirator in a terrorist financial trial. I believe that was 3 shows ago we talked about that. At least 3 of CAIR's leaders have been indicted for terrorist activities. Al-Mansour admission opens up speculation as to whether Muslim interests have assisted Obama's career, in the hope that he would eventually be in a position to somehow promote their interest. More recently, it was discovered that Obama's selective service card may be doctored. Federal law requires all American males to register for the selective service, or the draft, in case a major war broke out. I did it as well when I turned 18. It's no big deal. Debbie Wasserman Schultz has discovered solid evidence that Obama's selective service registration form was submitted not when he was younger as required, but rather in 2008, and then to take an older look. No, that doesn't make any sense either. I think they're trying to muddy the waters on that. Indeed, the forgers forgot to alter the document location number, which shows that it is clearly a 2008 form. Oh, this is fraud and it's a felony. Oh my goodness. Moreover, the document shows a September 4th, 1980 date and the location of the transaction as Hawaii, but at that time Obama was thousands of miles away attending Occidental College in Los Angeles. Oh. You know, folks, I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And this part too. In Obama's home state of Illinois, Sankey tracked down 16 different addresses for Barack Obama, or a Barack H. Obama, of which all are addresses he was known to have lived at. 2 Social Security numbers appeared for these addresses, one beginning with an 042 and one starting at 364. In California, where Obama attended Occidental College, there are 6 addresses listed for him, all with easy driving distances of the college. However, there are 3 Social Security numbers connected with these addresses, 537 and 2 others, each beginning with 999. There are no addresses listed in New York where he attended Columbia University, but there is one listed for him nearby in Jackson, New Jersey, with a Social Security number beginning with 485. Oh my goodness, Massachusetts, where Obama attended for Harvard Law. We find 3 addresses, all using the 042 Social Security number. After Obama was elected to the United States Senate in 2005, he moved into an apartment at 300 Massachusetts Ave. The Social Security number attached to that address is 042. Yet, 3 years later, Obama uses a different Social Security number for an address listed as 713, Hart Senate Office Building. This was the address of his United States Senate office. Social Security number began with 282 and was verified by the government in 08. Oh, I mean, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and growing and growing. It's unbelievable. I mean, if you don't think that these people are trying to undermine, trying to take over all of America, I don't know where I don't know where your head's at if you don't understand it, if you don't see it. You've got to see this thing coming. It's coming down the pipe. It's coming fast. I mean, I wish I could tell you there's a happy ending to this story. If you're a devout Christian and you read the Bible, I was in church today and the pastor was talking about Revelations and some things and very interesting stuff, and he's got a friend that's a Jehovah's Witness, and he was talking about a conversation they had, and he was explaining certain things, and it was just really interesting how other people see Christianity but don't know Christianity, only know of it because of what they hear. That they don't know it, but they know of it because of what they hear. Well, this isn't going to end well. Well, it will end well. It will end perfect, because it will end where we wind back up in the beginning once again. I can't really give you the details. I really don't understand it myself, but in Revelations, that's what it talks about. God promises to bring it all the way back full circle. So we'll be back in the Garden of Eden again, and the meek will inherit the earth. Well, the good Lord above has to cleanse the earth of all the evil and all the rottenness, the gut rot that's going on today, because it would be amazing to live on this planet where there was no pain and suffering and no evil. I think this planet would be just an amazing place to be a part of, where there's no struggle, no strife. You know, like the Garden of Eden, where they were one with each other, one with their relationships, one with the earth, one with heaven. They talked to God, God talked to them. There was no evil. There was no moaning and groaning of the earth under the weight of the human sin. You know, there weren't there's sunny days and blue skies. You know, no tornadoes and things like that. and you didn't have to work for anything. And everything was perfect. To explore this earth and to roam the earth in that sense, I think would be the most amazing thing ever. The most beautiful, amazing thing, especially for my wife. Could you imagine knowing that you're going to live forever with your wife and your children? They don't argue, they don't bicker, they don't fight. You have the perfect relationship with God, the perfect relationship with your wife, the perfect relationship with your kids. I mean, everything is, you can do no wrong. And you're not a slave to your sins. People call Christians, they call us hypocrites. I understand. I understand why they call us hypocrites, because we do the sins that they do. We're the same as them, if you will, in a sense of being a slave to sin. However, what makes us completely different than them is that we're saved. Our sins are forgiven. We're saved. Because when you ask Christ for forgiveness, boom, it's done. Develop that relationship with Him, and it happens. And I could see being an atheist, or putting myself in their shoes, and being very jealous and very envious of that, and still being jealous because they don't know that relationship, they don't understand that relationship, and it's to them an invisible, make-believe, cartoon, magical thing. And so they blow us off as being crazy. However, you know, and I know, especially if you prayed about something and it shows up, because God is your ultimate heavenly Father. And if you're a father to your child, Your child can do bad things, but you still love your child, regardless. It doesn't matter. My kids screw up all the time. They break things. They ruin things. You can't have good things. That's what it is. You have to come to grips with the fact that if you have children, you are not allowed to have nice things or clean things until you kick them out of your house at 18. Then you're allowed to have nice things after that. Okay. So my kids do these things that make me so angry. But yet at the end of the day, I love them. I love them unconditionally, and I want to give them everything. But yet I don't want to spoil them. If you look at it that way, God is that Father of all of us. And the love from Him is even more unconditional. And yes, He's sad when we do things that are bad. But it's that unconditional love. If you ask your mom and dad to forgive you, I'm sorry. They will instantly. Do that to God. He will instantly. It's true. It's fact. It happens. I've noticed it in my own life. And the whole thing with tithing, nothing's mandatory. And if a church tells you it's mandatory to tithe, I've heard of churches wanting to see people's finances and make sure they're tithing, almost like a membership. If that's so, leave it. That's not a Christian church. That's not based on the Bible. Leave them. Leave them. Come to our church, Bridgetown Church of Christ. Come to that church where tithing is not mandatory. Tithing is between you and God. He requests that you tithe 10%. Above and beyond that is out of the graciousness and gift of your heart. So I told my wife, she was listening to one of the shows and on TV about tithing. I think it was the 700 Club she was listening to. And she came to me and she said, okay, I'm not going to beat you up anymore about how little you give. I said, okay, well, thank you. Thank you for being nice. Because that's between you and God, and I'm not going to say any more about it. Because she went hard on me. She's like, that's not 10%. That's not 8.5. 9. That's not 10. So I've come to terms with it. What I give is what I feel I can give. The fact I start giving, and I started to see things showing up. And it was almost an immediate reaction. Better job, more money, better things coming, more things coming. It just started happening like a big giant wheel, big stone wheel rolling down a mountain. It was unbelievable. That's what tithing is all about. In my mind, that's what it's all about. And that's what we talk about in our church. Very open, very welcoming, and we aren't hypocrites. We are saved by the grace of God because of Jesus, through Jesus to heaven. That's what it is. And it's a peace-loving, human-kind-loving religion. It's the only religion I know that has that absolute tie to God. Once you're in that, you've got that tie to God, that tie to Jesus, that loving, caring relationship that you want to give to others. That's not the Islamic religion. It's the complete opposite. I mean, just compare the two. And that's where we come full circle again today. The left and the right, the good and the bad, the yin and the yang, the line in the sand, that very deep gouge in that granite rock that will never disappear. They're spreading, they've literally, that line in that granite rock, if you can imagine, that the whole world is standing on that rock, and they dug the line in that rock so deep, the rock is cracked. And it's now split apart, and it's starting to slowly drift as if it was on the ocean, further and further and further away from each other. One side being absolute insanity and consumed with evil. The other side consumed with making a better life and a better world for themselves. Which side do you want? That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's not a hard question. if you will. It's not hard to see what side that you should be on. You know, here at Smith Radio, we're all about helping to bring the information out. I'm not perfect. Yeah, I mess up on this show. I'll flub words and get tongue-tied and maybe not know what to say and maybe not be as organized as I should be. I'm learning. I'm getting better. I'm working at it. It's something I love to do, to be able to come here and to talk to you folks. I'd love to be able to do this on a daily basis, you know. And maybe one day, God willing, He knows how passionate I am about this. I feel like this is my calling, to be able to do something. If I can change the minds, the hearts and souls and minds of 2 or 3 people in the right direction, there's a success for you right there. There's no doubt about it, folks. And with that, yes, that is the end of the show, my friends. For Sunday, March 22nd, 2015, we have come to a close. Folks, get on Facebook.com/Smith Radio. Find us there. Contact us anytime, any day. YouTube, Smith Radio. Good night now.
With unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.